Yeah, still can't go live on Twitter, but this is episode 70 of Ramie and Drew. I am Ramie Makloff. That is Drew Flaggy. We're a couple of Milwaukee comedians. We talk sports and whatever else might come to mind. I was just checking it out, Drew. Don't know. You can't know unless you try. But no, we are still not on Twitter. We are on YouTube and Facebook, streaming live right now, and you can follow, like, subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend about us on YouTube, Spotify, and over at Apple. And Drew, so much losing to talk about tonight. So much losing. Both our football teams. We'll get to that in one second. But the Bucks are off to a 1-6 start, dude.
Yeah.
Let me say that again. The Bucks are off to a 1-6 start after falling to the Cavs tonight. No Giannis. They fall to the Cavs tonight. 116 to 114. I had to hold you back before we started the show because I was like, save some of that for the old podcast. Don't blow your load here before we even crack the mics open. So go ahead. What's grinding your gears, Drew Flaggy, about this Bucks 1-6 start?
I don't know what grinds my gears worse. I don't know if it's this uncertainty that Chris Middleton even exists. Did we imagine Chris Middleton for the past 11 years?
I don't think so.
I have a Chris Middleton jersey. I also have a Santa Claus ornament that I can put on my fucking Christmas tree. That doesn't mean that he's real.
Yeah, it doesn't make him real. It doesn't make him real.
There are blurry photos of Chris Middleton walking around the north woods of fucking, I don't know, Washington or Oregon or whatever. He's out there. He's in the Pacific Northwest in blurry photos. No, the thing, honestly, it's now Giannis has injuries again. Didn't have injuries for Greece. Played for Greece. Now we got Giannis. He's hurt.
The old adductor. The old adductor muscle. That adductor muscle will get you.
Yeah, good. Whatever. So now Giannis is hurt. So now Damian Lillard has to be the smallest guy on the floor. We got to play small ball. Dame's the only one out there that can actually score the goddamn ball consistently. Half our fan base hates Damian Lillard, apparently, which is insane to me. Because he had the one bad game, the 1 for 12 against Memphis, and then everyone hates him like he hasn't scored 30 points in every other game this season. Like Dame's gonna get fucking killed out there. Like he got hammered at the end of the game. Not that going up for a dunk when you're down by 4 with 9 seconds left was the greatest idea, but whatever. He's gonna make something happen out there. But like Dame's been playing great. He's gonna get fucking killed. Like Because all these
dudes Dame's been awesome. Dame has been outstanding. Yeah,
Dame's been everything I wanted Damian Lillard to be since we traded for him.
And Giannis has been pretty good. They're just not getting any help from pretty much anybody else
Gary
right now.
Trent Jr., they're getting no help at all. Someone break into his house.
What did he do tonight? I mean, he
went 1 for 7. He had
1
4
for
points.
7.
He was 2 for 2 from. He's somehow got a shooting foul.
Dude, he might as well have not been on the court tonight. He might have been better if he wasn't on the court tonight.
That was a big thing that we were actually discussing. I don't know if you looked at the group chat, but Doc Rivers pulled out all of our offseason acquisitions. DeLon Wright, how many minutes did he play tonight?
DeLon Wright? He had 4 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got benched for Andre Jackson and AJ Green, who played great, by the way.
AJ Green was outstanding. Pat Connaughton got 22 minutes. So when are we going to stop with the heavy minutes? I know with Giannis out, some guys are going to get heavy minutes who you don't necessarily want to give them to. But we're getting a heavy dose of Pat Connaughton again through seven games, and that is not something that we want.
No, but I'm going to say this. Pat Connaughton, for like the little stretches tonight that he actually kind of ran the point and he was point Connaughton, wasn't bad. Listen, he's the closest thing that I could probably call Stan Van Gundy on this team. He's a great basketball mind. He's got a great basketball IQ. I don't think his physical skill set is there. But Pat made a couple good. He got Bobby a couple great looks.
Yeah, he was 3 for 4. He did have 5 assists. Tonight wasn't the worst night for him.
No, it wasn't a bad night. It wasn't like something that'll jump out at you, but like the 5 assists were nice. Him and Bobby had a nice little 2-man game going. Like Pat would dribble, drive, and dump the ball off to Bobby. Bobby Portis played offensively pretty fine. I shouldn't make fun of the fact that his house got broken into. I'm just being salty. That's my fault.
Honestly, tonight's game tonight's game is probably, I haven't been happy with any of the losses.
The last two,
I was on the Fan. What was it, last Tuesday? I was on the Fan in Milwaukee. By the way, back on the FM 105.7 FM, the Fan, 12:50 a.m. still, and your Odyssey app. And I was saying, Doc was talking about, he was basically saying, I don't like to talk about moral victories. I'm not going to say moral victory, but this was kind of a moral victory, and I'm not here for that, dude. Like, not with this team. Not when you have two of the best players in the world. And I still don't want to talk moral victory, but I feel a little bit better talking about that when you don't have your best player in Giannis and you're still without Chris, and you took a team that was undefeated down to the wire and had a lead late in the fourth quarter. Like, tonight was a game that I kind of expected them to lose. The effort that they put out there tonight, I was pretty pleased with for most of the game, given what they were working with.
There was a lot of what I was pleased with. There was actually only, outside of like the outcome of the game, there was only one stretch that really annoyed me, and it was where we were actually getting a good amount of stops. And this was like when they had the lineup in. I forget who all five were, but Dame was definitely in there, I believe, and then Brooke and Ajax were in there. And the thing that pissed me off is that we got 4 consecutive stops, and we had 4 possessions on the offensive end that ended with a Brooke or Andre Jackson 3-pointer. And those were momentum killers. If they worked that ball inside, if they tried to get Brooke down low somewhere, even if you were just getting Jared Allen away from anybody else, and just you could get that ball to literally anyone else on the floor. I don't like these Brooke Lopez 34-foot 3-pointers. I was listening to, because I've been just trying to look at the tea leaves and try to figure out, are we missing something here? Like, what's going on? And somebody, like, one of the things I was listening to is that Brooke Lopez has still basically, for a 3-point shooter, remove the fact that he's a center and a pretty good 3-point shooting center, he is a way below average 3-point shooter, and he's getting overhyped with the Bucks offense. This was under Bud, and it was under Griffin, and now it's under Doc, that he's being allowed to shoot more threes than he probably should be taking, because he's only a career 32% 3-point shooter. He had 1 year.
I don't know if he's being allowed to. I don't think his career shooting percentage really reflects the type of 3-point shooter he is, because he transformed his game. So,
but he didn't take
the shooting.
He didn't take a 3 until he was 7 years into the league.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the 3-point, the aggregate is not necessarily, and I don't know that they're letting him as much as they need him to. They need a big to stretch the offense with Giannis in there. They need him to be that. No, that's true. Giannis wasn't in there tonight, but you're not going to change your whole game and ask him to do something completely different. Like, that's what he does. And playoffs. When you look at other centers around the league, 33% career is not great, but it's up there with some of the other centers who put up threes regularly.
Again, when you have, and I would say, again, when you have other guys on this team who can also shoot, given Chris Middleton, I think the only things he owns by Nike are sweatshirts. I don't think he owns any basketball shoes or a goddamn jersey. Like, is he a coach? Is Chris Middleton a coach?
I don't believe so. I don't believe he's slid over to the coach's chair. No.
Because we're going to sit here and I am prepared to be without Chris Middleton until December 25th. We don't even play that day. I am going to say Merry Christmas on whatever, the 26th or the 24th, whenever we do play around that time, because I don't think we're going to have him until December. I was saying we're going to say middle of November, the way it's looking right now, and there was this thing where he's uncertain if he's going to be able to run. This is like, dude, I don't want to. If I say Ben Simmons 3 times, is he going to come through my fucking TV and kill me like it's The Ring?
No, and even when he does come back, Drew, we're gonna be kind of walking on eggshells about his availability.
Get hurt again.
That's what I'm saying. Dame has been very available for the most part since he came over, but he's had his own injury problems. And the last couple of playoff runs have ended with Giannis watching in street clothes. And I hate to say it. I love all 3 of those guys, and I still think you get all 3 of them on the court at the same time, and you're talking about a really good basketball team that has a chance to win a championship. But you're kind of putting eggs in a fragile basket the same way as those Nets teams we talked about that the Bucks eliminated from the playoffs when they won a championship. It's similar to that when you look at the availability of your big three, your superstars that you expect to put a lot of the weight of winning on. And those guys, I just don't they haven't been available enough for us to really see what it can look like and to have a lot of faith that they can put it out there on a regular basis.
So again, we can go back and I will justify every one of these injuries because Kevin Love, that dirty little fuck, the way like that, he's so goddamn old. That guy, he can't play defense. He can't stay in front of it. He's not heat culture. He's the nastiest, dirtiest, whitest, fucking trashiest thing that there is out on the floor. Kevin Love's career ended when he was out of Minnesota, and LeBron, thank God, saved his career in Cleveland. Dude, Kevin Love is trash, and he undercut Giannis on a fucking drive, and Giannis fell on his tailbone. Was that Giannis's fault for not being conditioned? No. Let's not act like that injury in that Miami series was something because Giannis ate too many cheeseburgers and had a little bit of indigestion and threw his back out having diarrhea. That's not what happened. Okay, no. People like to act like this was a Giannis thing. It wasn't. It was Kevin Love being a dirty player, playing in a dirty system filled with a piece of shit like Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero. Okay? Fuck Whitnell. I don't care if any of you listen. Whitnell can suck my balls. Nathan Hale all the way.
Why are you cussing his listeners, dog?
What? Well, Taylor Swift can suck my balls too. How about that? And there's we'll get back on that one. There's no Swifties listening. Okay.
You don't know that.
Do you know how many women hear my voice and go, nah? It's all of them.
She's at the Chiefs game right now, by the way.
Yeah, good for her.
Monday Night Football. And her mom is there.
Cool. They're supportive.
It's adorable. It's adorable.
Anyways.
I saw them celebrating a touchdown. They were jumping and hugging.
Wow. Cool.
Totes.
Sports happen. Anyways, where was I? Okay, and then like the Chris Middleton, his ballerina ankles that are really fragile and tender or something like that. Like whatever he's doing out there, that's just going to be Chris Middleton. He's going to be having leg injuries. Whatever. And then so last year Giannis did have the injury, the soleus. That's I don't know. It's unavoidable, I guess, but like strength and conditioning or something. I guess you could blame that one. But then Damian Lillard. How did Damian Lillard get hurt in the playoffs? Because Damian Lillard was the best player in that Indiana series until he got hurt. How did he get hurt? Oh, Miles Turner stepped under him on a drive, and he rolled his ankle and fucked up his Achilles and still went out there and soldiered on. He still played the second half of that game. Limping.
I'm not saying that these injuries are those guys' faults. I'm just saying that their availability has been in question.
Then you know what? Did somebody come off the bench for the Bucks and chair shot somebody like it's the WWF? How about that? How about Bobby Portis? If you're gonna go take a shot at Miles Turner in the playoffs, crack him with a chair like he's the fucking Undertaker. I don't give a shit.
Get your money's worth.
Blade him. Do something to him. I don't care. DDT him. It
doesn't matter. Him. Take it easy.
Do something to him. Just really get your money's worth if you're going to take the fine. It's a fine regardless.
I'd like to see a Stone Cold Stunner.
I'd like to see us win. I'd like to see a Wisconsin team win a playoff series. That would be cool. But like, anyways, there's like, and this is me bitching and moaning when we're 3 years removed from a championship. But these injuries, I'm not going to.
Nah, but this is supposed to be better than this. I don't know. That championship is in the past. I'm here to talk about this team.
This isn't Kawhi Leonard. Oh, it hurts today. Maybe I'll play. Maybe I won't. Like, this isn't James Harden and Kyrie that, I can kind of play. I might not play. The Bucks players are trying to at least be out there. They're not load managing. Giannis missed 9 games last year, or 8 games last year. Dame missed 8 games last year. That was it in the regular season. Guys aren't load managing and not going out there because they're not playing. Now, Crimbley Bimblebombs over there, or Chris Middleton, his name's Chris Middleton, I think. Chris Middleton does this crap where he'll come off, he's gonna ball out, he's gonna have a bunch of games, he's gonna score 17 points, get 5 boards, 5 assists, with Dame and Giannis, and everything's gonna look like flowers and sunshine. And then Kevin Durant is gonna have long toenails or something like that, and Chris Middleton, he's gonna break his ankle again, and he's gonna be down for 20 more fucking games. So I think we're gonna see Chris Middleton. He'll play 32 games this year. I have no faith will be back before December.
That would not be good. That would not. They're not winning a championship if that's the case.
So we are going to sit here and we're going to go, well, we got to wait for the full squad to get back. Well, it's like, well, we have perfectly healthy Gary Trent Jr. Why are you 1 of 17 from fucking 3? Oh, I can tell he's gassed having to defend guys like Donovan Mitchell. It's not an easy assignment. Donovan Mitchell's a really good player. But also, when you get the ball, when you have an open 3 and you have time to actually set up and take a shot, why are you bent over like you're in the fucking club and you're a thought trying to get a phone number? Because his back is arched real bad. He's twerking before he shoots a fucking shot. His knees look weak and his arms aren't ready. Something mom spaghetti. I don't care. It's like he looks terrible out there. He looks absolutely horrible shooting threes. And he's missing corner threes now.
At what point, and you're right about Gary Trent Jr., he has not been a good signing thus far. We'll see. It's still early in the season.
The one I was the most excited for. He was number 1 on my wish list.
Yeah. At what point and I guess this is a 2-part question. And by the way, y'all can comment on the YouTube page. Please do like, subscribe, rate, review, and tell a friend while you're there. At what point do we start looking at Doc Rivers cockeyed, and what exactly can they do about that? Because you're not gonna change head coaches mid-season 2 years in a row, are you? And have 4 coaches on the payroll. I think you're pretty locked in to Doc here, and I don't want to make the coach the scapegoat. There's plenty of problems here for this team, but I mean, they've played as many games with Doc as the head coach as they did with Adrian Griffin, and they had more wins with Adrian Griffin. That's the bottom line. This thing was supposed to get better with Doc, and it hasn't to this point. And I am starting to wonder if this is, again, not to scapegoat the guy, and Doc is a very accomplished head coach in this league, but just wondering if this was the right hire, the right fit for this particular group of guys, and why it's not working. It's not resulting in wins. I gave him a lot of time last year where I was like, okay, coach coming in mid-season and all the injuries that they dealt with throughout, that's a tough thing to deal with. Hard for him to get this thing back on the railroad tracks. But you had a whole off season and a whole training camp and a whole preseason, and here they sit at 1-6, and you got Giannis saying we don't really know what our identity is. That's concerning to me.
So the identity thing that came after the Brooklyn game. That was over a week ago. That was 4 games ago.
Do you think they've found their identity since then?
I think they've looked a little bit more coherent on both ends of the ball, but the problem was that Bulls game, and because I had to go back and watch that shit later, hungover after the Halloween party, and then there was the
Brooklyn good party. Shout out Reagan.
Oh, it was a good party. It's the best party of the year.
It is.
But also, I watched the Nets game at Left's. I was sitting there at the bar, and one of the bartenders I've known for forever heard me say, "You dumb assholes." She said 20 times. I'm like, that's the ones you heard me say. I was just muttering into a Michelob Ultra going, "You dumb assholes," just watching them, just muttering. And they had no urgency. Like, they seriously seemed to think that they could just go out there and beat these teams that they feel are beneath them. And they got worked. And they got ran off the court against Memphis. And so, I can stomach losing to Boston. I don't like it. I can stomach it. I can even stomach these two losing by 1 and 2 points against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I can take it. I'll call it a 4-point loss tonight.
Dude, that's a good team. I think they've moved into another tier. The Cleveland Cavaliers. I wasn't sold on them from what I've seen early on this season. That's a really good basketball team.
I had them as my 3 seed coming into the season. I had us as the 2.
Yeah, they're top 4. They're top 4 in the East for sure.
Yeah, they're a really good team. When they were able to Garland and Mitchell, and I've been a big Jared Allen fan. Actually, I like him a lot. I think he's a great center. He's a good classic center, and I actually like Mobley and Okoro also. There's a lot of pieces on that team that I really like. But those teams don't bug me to lose to, especially early in the season. When you're trying to figure things out, that's fine. But when you lose to when you piss away opportunities, basically, it's the opportunity cost of losing to the Bulls and the Nets and the Grizzlies. Those are not teams you should be losing to, especially when the Grizzlies are also missing their probably third best player, Desmond Bane. He was out. You got a bunch of their creative players that no one knows what their names are, not even the players on that team. Those guys are all out, and you still lost to them. And it's like you could be 3-3, or you could be 3-4 right now, and things wouldn't look so bad. And I'm not going to sit here and say that the Pistons are better than us, or the Indiana Pacers are better than us right now, or the Raptors are better. But I will vent a little bit and go, well, they're proving that they are a better basketball team right now than we are. And we got the in-season tournament coming up on Tuesday. And
shit about that.
And guess what? We got to play Toronto. And I'm sitting here wondering, is Scotty Barnes going to give us the business? Is this going to be the Gary Trent Jr. revenge game against Toronto or something? Are we going to somehow, I don't know, we're going to somehow unlock something on Gary Trent when he has to play his old team that didn't want to give him a league minimum contract? Like, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing? Like, so it's like, honestly, we play Utah next, right?
I believe so. Yes, the Jazz are next.
Terrible.
Yeah.
They're a terrible basketball team. They should be ashamed of themselves just the same way we are. Like, they have professionals on their team. So maybe we can go beat Utah. And you know what I would do? I would start AJ Green or Andre Jackson. I don't give a shit which one of those two they start at the 2 guard, because it's not worse than Gary Trent right now.
Dude, both of those guys have flashed some pretty good minutes off the bench this year. And that's another silver lining in all this, because they do need some bench production, and Bobby is not it right now. I mean, he will be. He's a 6 man of the year contender, and he'll sort of find his niche as he does every season. But you've talked about it. His minutes have not been great and haven't been all that productive up until now. They need somebody to step up on the bench, and AJ Green and Andre Jackson Jr. have been pretty good.
Yeah, and even, I mean, this isn't, I don't know how many times you could bank on going to this, but Ryan Rollins looked really, he was active tonight. He wasn't a guy, he wasn't taking shots, but he was playing meaningful minutes, and he held everything together, and he helped with the pacing of the game and stuff. Like, I know he's a two-way guy, so he's going to be up and down and stuff, but like, I like the minutes that Ryan Rollins got. There's no reason that guy should be slotted in over Gary Trent Jr. That's my big issue, is that when I got to start looking down at the deep bench going, should AJ Johnson be in here? Should fucking Tyler Smith be in here right now? It's like, dude, you're a veteran player and you've played with Damian Lillard before. Like Gary Trent. Like, you need to, like, you got to do something, man. Like, there's got to be something. Like, I just don't know. Like, there's just no part of his offensive game that's translated onto this team, which annoys me, because like I said, he was the guy I was most excited for us to sign this year.
That's one of those things, though. There are a lot of things and this is similar to something I've said about the Bears so far this year, and we'll talk about that in a second. But there are things I do have patience for in terms of their struggles when it comes to the Bucks, and there are things I don't have patience for. This is a guy trying to find his niche, in between Giannis and Dame, and theoretically Chris Middleton and Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez, guys that have been here and guys that have done a lot of things in this league. And you got, when you're Gary Trent Jr., you got to just kind of come in and try and find where you fit in, and not necessarily, go out and do your own thing or play your own game. You have to play within their game. And I'm going to give him some time to sort of figure that out. By the way, I was slightly distracted while you were talking, because Patrick Mahomes went down with a non-contact injury, and it did not look good. He did it while he was throwing a touchdown to tie the game, and it's 17-all if you're listening or watching us live right now, but it did not look good, and he's on the trainer's table right now. He tried to stop short, and I don't know if it was his ankle or his knee, but his whole leg kind of buckled under him, and then he just sat down and held his leg, and then was helped off the field, and is now sitting on a trainer's table.
That's the Swiftie curse right there.
Wow.
I blame her mom.
Not Mama Swift. Don't go after Mama Swift on the podcast.
Yeah, I'll go after all of them. I don't
get us murdered.
Dude, on Thursday, just speaking of music that just should hurt most people's ears, When I was at the gym, dude, I was like for Halloween, I was straight up listening to Rob Zombie while lifting weights, and that was fire.
That's getting in the spirit of things.
Dude, I was so spooky lifting, dude. I was becoming a monster. It
Hey,
was
I do want to talk football, and we literally we're limited in time tonight, Drew, because we've used almost all the memory that I have in StreamYard. I need to go in and delete some of the older pods for us to do more of these in the future. So we're gonna get cut off at like the 50-minute mark when we're almost at half an hour. Just to let folks know what's going on here. I should have done
out of your head. You're like, oh, my internet tank, I didn't fill it up. And
no, my internet tank is totally full. We're just about to run out of memory on StreamYard, which is the website that we use to stream this show. And I should have done that before I came on, but I was trying to get this thing started, and here we are. So we have about 25 minutes left. But did you read Jim Ozarski's article last week in JS Online about like the big picture long term when it comes to the Milwaukee Bucks? Did you catch that at all, or catch me on the fan talking about it?
Yeah. He does share that a couple of the groups that I'm in, so I do read his stuff, just because he's a sane person that doesn't make me.
I had Jim on the show to talk about it, and what I took away from that article, and he confirmed that this is kind of what he took away too, just reading between the lines and sort of some comments from Wes Edens and sort of translating those from owner speak to what it might actually mean. This team might look very different by next year. Like as soon as next year, this team could look very different. But one thing, unless these two guys decide to force something different than what I'm about to say, Giannis and Dame are part of the Bucks plan. They're gonna build this thing around Giannis and Dame for the next 3 years, at least 2 years, maybe 3 years. Brooke is a possibility to go. Chris Middleton is a possibility to go. Bobby, any other major piece that you can think about on here. But as far as the ownership, the management, the brain trust of the Bucks, they have freed up a lot of cap space and a lot of roster space beyond this year. If they want to move on from Brooke, they could stick with them. If they want to move on from Chris, they could stick with them. But these are all moving parts that they can change if they want to, and they'll have a lot of money and resources to do it. They're out of the first apron, much less the second apron when you talk about the what's the word? The luxury tax.
Yeah.
So this could look very different, but I think if you're somebody who, loves Giannis and loves Dame and was excited that they paired those two guys together, I think you can again, unless one of those two guys tries to force something different, you can count on that being the duo that this thing is built on for the next 2 to 3 years.
And that's what it should be. And when Giannis made those comments that everybody got freaked out about, because Giannis was, being kind of silly, but also every funny joke has a hint of truth in it. And when he said, they might trade him, I don't think Giannis believes it. I said on here, I didn't believe that Giannis believes that they would actually trade him, like outright just start shopping him. Now, if he went to them and said, I gotta go, I think they would help him out, in that way or something, and they would accommodate him. However, I do think when he said, they were going to trade him, it's like, well, it's like being kind of like self-deprecating and, kind of being a comedian about it. But that means Middleton might be gone. Like, it's like, we can't have deuces on the bench right now doing nothing. Okay. We can't be relying on you going, well, when he comes back, well, when daddy comes back from getting cigarettes and milk. Well, it's like, well, what if he doesn't come back? What if he's not back? What's he doing? What is anybody doing out there? Is it because we're relying on you and you're nowhere? Now, there are names out there that I can start throwing out there. Brandon Ingram, that I would love for the Bucks to go try to get if they're a free agent, especially I guess New Orleans is looking at probably trying to sign Brandon Ingram, but if it doesn't happen, if BI doesn't, can you, I don't know, can you try to steal Jeremy Grant away from Portland too? Can we just keep using them as our minor league team? I'd be fine with that. I'm a fan. Over here. there are things like that it's like we could go and start giving players away. And the thing that sucks is it's like I would love Chris Middleton to retire a buck, but the problem is if that contract is going to be that big of an issue and he's got 1 year left on it, I'm sorry, dude. We can't have you being dainty on the bench.
Yeah, and I think you might be right
You're
in
way
terms of
good years. I mean, can Damian Lillard go be a Navy SEAL again next summer at 35 years old?
no. I mean, at some point the decline starts. But I think you're right in that Giannis's message and what he said when he was like, "Hey, if we don't win a championship, they might trade me." What he was saying is like they're going to change something if they're not just going to keep on running the same guys back out there year after year and not bring home a trophy. Like they're going to change something is kind of what Giannis's message was there. It's probably not him, but they're gonna change something.
He's right.
And he's right. He's absolutely right about that. By the way, did you hear the latest? Well, it's the same Giannis rumor that gets spread 2 or 3 times every year. It was Bill Ryder, one of the writers. Yeah, Bill Ryder. Chad Ryder is the NFL writer. Bill Ryder said Giannis could force his way out of Milwaukee as soon as this season. And Drew, did you see the report, or am I the first to tell you of this?
Can I take a stab at it? Because the ones that they've always been, it's always been like Dallas, so he goes with Luka. There's always been Golden State. I don't know who this guy is that you're talking about, so I'm going to assume that this is like a really stupid fucking team. This isn't going to be the Knicks.
No, it's the same ones you always hear. It's Miami, New York.
Oh, so that's what they're saying. Miami and New York.
Those are his preferred trade destinations should he force his way out of Milwaukee.
It's always Knicks, Heat, Lakers, and then the sexy one is Dallas because Dallas is kind of small, but they got Luka and they got Kyrie, and you could put a big 3 there, and the Bucks would be more than happy to take Derek Lively or something like that. We would love.
I wish somebody would be creative when they're just pulling this stuff out of their ass. Be like, yeah, he wants to go to Utah. You know what I mean? Like just make up something new and fun and fresh. You know what I mean? If you're just gonna be making shit up about Giannis forcing his way out of Milwaukee every year, just do something fun and new.
Giannis and Dame took their kids trick-or-treating, and Dame was talking about how fondly, he remembers his time in Portland, and Giannis forces his way to the trail. Like ready.
Giannis wants to go to Orlando. You know what I mean? Like
honestly, why would that be bad? To go with Paulo? That's kind of sick, dude.
Paulo better be coming back the other way if the Bucks are trading Giannis to Orlando. I'll just say that right now.
Wagner. We're not even gonna get the good Wagner brother. We're gonna get Mo.
I know you're gonna hate me for saying this, but if they do trade him, please Chicago. Like, at least I can still root for him there. You know what I mean? I can go back to being a Bulls fan. I can just jump right back on that, man.
Wow, dude, we can get. Wow, I can't wait to get fucking Patrick Williams. I need another dipshit that pointers on my team. That's exactly
I hate that basketball team so much. I'm still a fan. I'm still a Bulls fan, but God, do I hate? They're just not a serious organization. God, do I hate them? I fucking hate them so much.
All right. Well, speaking of unserious organizations,
football is stupid, and I hate it, Drew. This is a new segment on the Ramie and Drew show.
Gloves. Bryce Terang and Sal Frelick won Gold Gloves.
Oh, I thought we were transitioning into football. I thought you made a really good transition and took a shot at my football team.
I'm like Marvel. I subverted your expectations.
The Bears are bad, dude. That's the realization I came to. And we can talk about the Packers in a second. I wouldn't be too worried about that loss. If you're a Packers fan, that Lions team is just on a roll right now. They might be playing the best football in all the NFL. It's between them and the Chiefs, I would say. But the Packers are a good football team. The Bears are not, Drew Flaggy. All that they've shown me is they're not a really bad football team. Like they moved out of the class of the Jaguars and the Panthers, and that's cool. That's a step up because you're every bit as bad as them as recently as a year ago. You're better than teams like that, but they've gotten their asses kicked 2 weeks in a row now by teams that are good, not great. They're just like good teams in this league, and the Bears were just embarrassed by both of them. Yeah. And I'm sad.
They were beat by teams that moved their way out of the shit tier of the Jaguars and the Patriots.
Yeah.
And Yeah. No, I told you early on that it's like the schedule you guys are playing. You guys are playing your soft schedule very well in the way that they should be with Caleb Williams, and you know, it wasn't going to be a magical year. Just everyone had to settle down. I know it's football's only 17 weeks, so everyone gets all
No,
excited.
but it's not even just the record. I mean, the record isn't that bad. They're 4-4. They should be like 6-2. Really, there have been a couple games they easily could have won, and they didn't because they have terrible coaching. But it's not just the record, it's the way that it looks. Like the offense, for all the moves that they made and getting the number one pick in the draft and getting a generational talent at quarterback, it's no better than it was when it was Justin Fields or when it was Mitch Trubisky. Like and I'm not saying that's not a knock on Caleb Williams. That's a knock on the Bears and what they're doing with and to Caleb Williams. The offense is no more productive than it was when we've been beating our heads against the wall. When I say we, I mean Bears fans for the last, I don't know how many years, wanting to see a modern offense that can move the football up and down the air and actually throw it through the air. It's no better for all the changes and all the hope and promise that we had. It's the same thing, man. It's the same exact thing that we've seen in the past.
Yeah, they're bad.
They are. They are. Was that Packers loss was that deflating to you at all? Like I said, that's a really good Lions team, and Jordan Love went into that game banged up.
Yeah. So I watched the game. I stopped over at my parents' house to watch the game yesterday because I was invited by one of their friends. They didn't even invite me. My dad's invited me over. And like I just walked in the front door and my dad was like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Nate invited me." He was like, "Oh." My mom's like, "We should have just locked the doors." And I was like, "I have a key."
Wow, your family does not like you.
I don't care. No, they probably didn't like that I came straight from the gym to watch football.
Oh,
So
you were in your basketball stuff, weren't you? And you smelled bad.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
You can't. All right. We already had this conversation. You can't just keep
But
showing up to social functions in your hooping gear. And
well, I was invited while I was at the gym.
there are showers and lockers at the gym where you can wash yourself and change clothes.
The thing is, I planned on coming home to
Okay.
shower my house because I like the water pressure in my shower. It feels nice. It feels like a pressure
Oh,
washer.
don't get me wrong. I don't like showering in public showers. It's one of my least favorite things to do. But if I'm going somewhere after I leave the gym, I got to do what I got to do. I'm not
Well,
going to go somewhere as all stank assed.
but I would have. I didn't bring a change of clothes. There's a whole thing
Fair
about.
enough. Fair enough. Okay, if you didn't bring a
Okay,
change of clothes. Yeah.
so anyways, so the Packers lost. No, was that deflating? Not really. The only thing that really irked the shit out of me in that one was that pick six that Jordan Love threw because that was just another. That was another one of those where it's like Jordan Love is like good for one really bad decision in a game, and it seems to always cost them. Like it hasn't bit us in the ass nearly as much as it probably should have at this point, especially because of how good our defense has been, especially the secondary. But if you looked at that, did you see the pick six that he threw?
I
Like,
did.
so even if he got that ball over the line into where Jacobs was, there
It
were
was a
still
bad
two
throw.
Jacobs and there was a defender in front of him. He was still throwing into triple coverage.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
not play. It was just he's done that where he's gone deep into triple coverage. He's tried to thread into like double coverage. Like it's just he's there. There are times where it's like he's good enough to. I'm worried that he knows he's good enough to get away with those kind of throws once in a while, but then he'll make a real bad one like yesterday. Like yesterday was a really bad throw. Like there was no reason if you knew you couldn't get any steam up like behind that one or you couldn't drop it in perfectly to Jacobs, there was no reason to go to him. And triple coverage, maybe I'm just a little bit more conservative minded on this one. I would have never advised throwing that ball ever to that.
No, and I think with Jordan Love, and it's a season and a half into him as a starter in this league, so he could shake this or he could get better about this. But when it comes to his decision making, I wouldn't expect Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean in terms of the proficiency with which he operated at the quarterback position, and the scarcity of the turnovers when that guy was the quarterback. I also don't think it'll be as bad as Brett Favre. So it's going to be somewhere in between there, and I don't know that that's going to change. That I think that might just be in his game, that he's going to take some risks and make some dumb, what a lot of people would call dumb plays at the quarterback position. I think you might just have to be ready to deal with that after not having to deal with that for a very long time with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback.
Well, I'll even say this, like I was literally,
you should be used to it. Like, it wasn't that long that you were watching Brett Favre give the other team the football with regularity.
I was literally on my phone on NFLshop.com looking at what kind of Jordan Love jersey I wanted to buy, and he threw that pick six, and I put my phone down, and I'm like, that can wait.
Just close the window. You're just nope.
It was literally like one of those things. I'm like, well, that was a $150 interception you threw there, Jordan. Like, don't do that again. Like, that's just money the corporation's not going to get from me today.
Yeah, I think the Lions are the class of the division. I think they've separated themselves from the pack, so to speak. No pun intended. They've separated themselves from the rest of the division at this point.
Yeah, they're really good. Did you see that? Did you see that video that somebody made where it was like the NFC Northwoods or whatever, where it was like a horror movie thing where it's like all the playoffs run through the NFC Northwoods, and it was like doing all the horror movie tropes. It was like a very cartoonish thing. Did you see that one?
I saw that. No.
Okay, I got sent it by like 6 people on like Instagram, and it's really funny because it's like all of it's like all of like the shit that's going on in the NFC North. It's like you have like players like walking through like the woods, and they're like, we're gonna go to the playoffs, and then they get serial killered by like all of like just various players. Like it's almost as good as what Game of Zones used to be for the NBA.
That was pretty good. That's pretty good.
I think it's animated the same way too. So it's
by the way, Patrick Mahomes is he's fine. He just led them on a game scoring drive to take the lead with under 3 minutes left. DeAndre Hopkins' first touchdown reception from Patrick Mahomes. Again, if you're watching us live on Facebook or YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple, you already know that happened. And I just wasted your time, and I'm sorry about that.
You just wasted a minute's worth of our bandwidth for Spotify.
I did. Speaking of which, we are getting dangerously close to getting cut off. So with that, Drew, I ask, anything else you wanted to add? Any final thoughts on the Bucs, football, anything else before we wrap this bad boy up? The election, you got any election thoughts? Tomorrow is a big election.
I was going to stay away from it. I just hope everybody has fun. It's just, maybe leave the grill lighters outside, everybody. Like, just no matter what happens.
Just be cool, everybody. Just be cool. You know what I mean?
No, just be cool sounds like you think your side just lost. Just be cool.
No, everybody just be cool. Just chill the fuck out. Go and vote. I definitely have a preference for which person I'd like you to vote for, but go vote for whoever you want, and then just fucking watch Steve Kornacki or whoever the fuck it is that you watch for the result. He's on MSNBC. Drew. He's like famous for his like data analysis during election coverage. But just chill the fuck out. Pour yourself a drink. Order some takeout. Everybody just chill the fuck out. All right.
Well, I wouldn't order takeout until we know the results of the election, because prices could go up or down. So maybe cook at home tomorrow, everybody.
Can he get the tariffs in that quick? I don't think he has the power to put the tariffs in right after the results are announced. I don't think that's.
Yeah, well, I mean, who knows? I mean, who knows if there's gonna be like a surcharge on like pizza deliveries or something tomorrow? I don't know. It's
all right.
It's not even wing night anywhere.
Yeah, go out and vote or don't.
There's no basketball on tomorrow because they're like,
yeah, I know.
The NBA
so
gets
stupid.
off. I still got to go to fucking work.
It's so stupid. This is when I want sports. I don't want to watch. I'm not gonna watch election coverage all night tomorrow, and it's gonna be hard to find something else to probably just watch a movie or something. I just tell me when we know who won.
Dude, I swear to God, like I'm gonna like just go to sleep, not even giving a shit, and then like every time like I hear police sirens, I'm gonna be like,
I hope. Well, I hope there aren't a lot of police sirens. And with that, this has been episode 70.
All right.
This has been episode 70 of Ramie and Drew. I'm Ramie Mackloff. That's Drew Flaggy. Follow, like, rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend about us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And we do appreciate the support. And we will talk to you next time. Thank you.
The Bucks are America. Which gets worse?